Well, before I get started, um, as I said in some of my most recent videos, whenever I do a video where I have to point out the evil, point out the crimes of the Crusaders against the Jews, against the holy people, I will do so along with me testifying about it. I will wear the proper clothing for it, including the yellow star. So this morning, I'm going to double down on a video I did last week, I believe it was last week, concerning the United Kingdom's culpability in the Holocaust. And last week it was in an article that was really obscure. You could hardly find it. But this week it is all out in the open for everyone to see on the Jerusalem Post. And it was, and this article is by Shoshana Kranish, and I will just go ahead and get started. The title is Revealed. A 1986 letter by Prince Charles blames foreign Jews for Middle East troubles. A 31-year-old letter penned by a young Prince Charles has stirred controversy for suggesting that foreign Jews, aka Ashkenazi Jews, you know, the ones who suffered in the Holocaust, you see. I'll continue and I will present to you my opinion concerning this. Foreign Jews were to blame in part for the troubles of the Middle East. This is what the royal family of Great Britain have to say. The letter, which was released by the Daily Mail on Saturday, also includes suggestions that the U.S. should deal with the Jewish lobby, a term considered by some to be anti-Semitic in its conflation with age-old tropes about the wealth and power of Jews. Charles penned it immediately after returning from an official visit to Saudi Arabia with then-wife Princess Diana. Now I begin to understand better their Arabs' point of view about Israel. Well, this is how the letter starts. I now begin to understand better the Arabs' point of view about Israel. Never realized that they see it as a U.S. colony. I now appreciate that Arabs and Jews were all a Semitic people originally, and it is the influx of foreign European Jews, especially from Poland, they say, which has helped to cause great problems. I know there were so many complex issues, but how can there ever be an end to terrorism unless the causes are eliminated? Charles wrote. Did you get that? All right, let's try this again. I'm going to read it very, very carefully, and I want you to listen to it very, very carefully. I now begin to understand better the Arabs' point of view about Israel. I never realized that they see it as a U.S. colony. I now appreciate that Arabs and Jews were all a Semitic people originally, and it is the influx of foreign European Jews, especially from Poland, they say, which has helped to cause great problems. I'm reading it slow so everyone can understand. I will continue. I know there are so many complex issues, but how can there ever be an end to terrorism unless the causes are eliminated? So we go up, and this is what Charles wrote. So we go back up to this sentence before, talking about European Jews, especially from Poland, they say, which has helped to cause great problems, or the influx of them. So what Prince Charles is suggesting, that the only way to stop terrorism is to remove the cause, which is the Jews coming from Europe. Folks, a 5-year-old, or I should say a 5th grader, can understand what is behind this kind of language. And let me remind everyone, you can go and look it up online yourselves, that the British royal family was caught on video doing Nazi salutes. That's right. It was either in the 30s or the 40s. You can go look it up for yourself. I don't have to do it for you. Now I'll continue this letter, or not this letter, but this article. Over the course of the 20th century, millions of Jews emigrated to Israel from across the Middle East and Europe, many fleeing as refugees from oppressive regimes and institutionalized anti-Semitism. In the years leading up to the Holocaust, Britain blocked Jewish immigration to Palestine, turning thousands away, many to certain death in concentration camps. You see, Britain was responsible for the British mandate. So Britain had the keys to the Holy Land and Jerusalem. And they blocked the door to the Jews who were fleeing from the Nazis, thereby siding with the Nazis when it came to the Jews. While the prince is largely an apolitical figure, he has been critical of American policy in the Middle East. He has been seen in the past as a defender of the Jewish community in the UK, and has also been lauded for his support of the kingdom's Muslim community. A 1993 speech by the prince encouraged cooperation between the West and the Muslim world, and said that Islam can teach us today a way of understanding and living in the world which Christianity is poorer for having lost. While the prince has visited Israel before, neither he nor any member of the royal family has made an official visit to the Jewish state. I wonder why that is. Well, once again, a 5th grader would understand it's because they don't recognize Israel as a state, as a Jewish state. A trip was planned for the fall of 2017, but was canceled over fears it would anger Arab allies. So you see which side the royal family of Britain stands. And to those of you, and I'm not trying to bash you, those of you who believe that the royal family is somehow of the royal house of David, this should remove all of the delusions of that falsehood. While the prince, let's see, yes, okay, the trip would have coincided with the 100th anniversary of the signing of the Balfour Declaration. You see, even Prince Charles or the Queen or anybody associated with the royal family was going to attend the 100th anniversary of the signing of the Balfour Declaration, meaning they don't. How do I put this? It means that, well, it's just a sign of how they have reneged on it. From the very, it didn't take long before they reneged on it. But this is proof that the British royal family outright rejects the Balfour Declaration. Wouldn't even show up to Israel at the 100th anniversary of the signing of the Balfour Declaration, penned by a British lord, which called for a Jewish national home in the British Mandate of Palestine. No member of the royal family was present at the state-organized celebration of the Declaration. Of the Declaration Centennial earlier this month, which the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu attended. The royal family has not released a statement on the release of the letter or its contents. Well, I submit to you that once the smoke clears in the, as people call, Great Tribulation, and it will be a great tribulation upon the Gentiles, especially the kings of Europe. They will be forced, all of them, the whole royal family of Great Britain, of the UK, will be forced to come down and bow their knees to the new caretaker of Jerusalem, the one who has the keys of David. And I dare say worse things may happen to them for their crimes. No, the Brits are not, the UK is not Israelite. Are there some Israelites, lost Israelites among the British citizens? Yes. But there is no nation, not one single nation on the earth today that represents Israel except for that which is in the Holy Land already. There is no other nation that represents Israel, in spite of what some have told you. The people of Israel who are hidden, who are lost and scattered into the nations are exactly that. They are scattered among the nations. They are being held hostage in each and every one of these nations because Great Britain has blocked the door to the kingdom. And all the other nations around the world have backed up this great sin. And there are consequences for blocking the door to the kingdom. And of course, to those who block the door to the kingdom, who realize that that is the only place to be, your citizenship will be blocked from entering that very same kingdom. You will have no citizenship in that kingdom. Those of you, rulers of the earth, who block the door to the children of the kingdom. Once again, whenever I have to testify against the nations for what they have done to the Jews, to Israel in the Holocaust, or in either one of the Crusades, I will dress in what I think is appropriate apparel. So, as I said, what was once buried and may have been considered, fake news or whatever, is now on the Jerusalem Post. And I want to thank the writer, Shoshana Kranish, for telling the truth, for bringing it out into the open, for being fearless. The truth will always come out, and the truth will always prevail.